All right, now we are live everywhere. All right, hello, idiots on parade. Oh wait, I got to get these going. They can't hear me on TikTok because I didn't have the
that's
mics
no
on
good.
there. Just
that's no good.
there.
They were just staring at
now
you
you
on
can
TikTok.
hear me, TikTok.
Not moving, not talking, nothing. Or moving but not talking.
Moving but not talking. Let me turn the volume down. Idiots on Parade, the two ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. Jake, I have the most, I don't want to say insane story, but I got the most insane request recently. Hello, April.
What's going on, April?
Ultra has changed his name. Irascible Recalcitrant. All right.
Nice.
Hello,
How's
Richard.
Hey.
All right. I want the comment section. I want the comment section to chime in. I want to know what they think as civilians, because Jake, I know what you're going to think, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. I received an email.
Wait, I'm a civilian too.
Yeah, but you're a civilian. Just stay with me. I received an email through my website, a request for a quote for a corporate gig. I get these. I'd love to get more. I do corporate gigs all the time. I do after proms. I get in front of many different diverse audiences. This one sort of susses me out. I shoot them an email saying, here's what I present. Here's what I can do. Here are your options. Let me know what you think. They mulled it over. They shot me an email saying, yes, we believe we'd like to hire you. Could you do a Zoom meeting with our group so that we can just feel you out and bounce some questions off you? I'm like, absolutely. It's like a job interview. You know, we'll talk screen to screen. But yeah, talking is
Question one, who really did 9/11? Answer carefully. Answer carefully. Read the about section on our website, you round earth motherfucker.
Question two, Israel or Palestine?
That's right. And there is no nuance.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
So we're talking, and they're like, tell me what you bring to the, and I say, here's the deal. You get to call the shots. You are my employer for this show, so you get to tell me what you want. I generally, unless you specifically ask for it, and most companies don't, I don't do any politics. I don't do anything that discusses a marginalized community in any way, shape, or form. I do not go into the audience to pick on audience members. I do not talk about anyone's sexual orientation. I don't talk about hot button topics. This is a corporate show. It's pretty vanilla. And they're like, oh, good. We like that. We don't want any, where the executives are going to be there. We want to make sure that nobody is offended. I'm like, yep, I do after proms for kids. Nobody will be offended. Well, someone might, but either way, here we go.
The only shows I've ever done for kids was on Epstein's Island. And you know what? As much as a dick he was about most things, he was actually pretty cool about the content restrictions. He said, say anything you want down here, sir.
Yes. One of the guys, I think there were 6 people in the chat. I'm not positive, but either way, one of the guys says, okay, I think we're looking good. We'd like you to type up your 30-minute act, the one we're buying, and submit it to us so we can give it to HR. Can you do that for me?
No.
Yeah.
How about I send you a clean video? Like what's the point of sending tapes if they're doing that bullshit? Tell HR to watch the tape. What's wrong with are they? Is your HR people deaf? Like, are they literally? Does your HR walk around using sign language all day? No, then send them the fucking tape, bud.
I was much more politically correct than that, but I was also stunned because
they wouldn't have liked me.
Never been asked that before. I've never been asked. I was just like, No, I don't have a typewritten act. I don't. And he asked, would you be willing to type it out? I'm like, no. And we sort of went back and forth a little, and I was very, very nice about it. So then we shifted gears and talked for 5 more minutes. Then he said this. The same guy said, okay, well, since you're not interested in typing it out, could we get you to jump on a Zoom call with HR and just do your 30-minute act over Zoom for human resources so they could listen and decide? Send them a fucking tape. I had no response. I was just literally, I said, I've never been asked this. Here's where I went wrong. So I said, I have to I am astounded by this request. I've never heard any. What I wish I had done is I should have said, absolutely, I will jump on a Zoom call and do my act for HR. That will require another contract and payment for if you want to double my payment.
Shit. What do you?
I will do a Zoom call
Do a free
for
Zoom
30
show
minutes.
for HR?
You're going to pay me for it.
Just to see if you're going to actually. So I do a 30-minute set on Zoom for HR just to see if you feel like paying me to do a show later. Fuck off.
Exactly. And so the funny part is I sent them the tape. I said, look, here is my webpage. This has all the testimonials. It has all the companies listed. It has everything.
Even better than that, you have the tape. You have the tape. You have the tape. Even if because hey man, I'll make up testimonials right now. I'll make up. I'll get quotes and endorsements from both Israel and Palestine, talking about how much they love my comedy, they love my content, my takes on everything, all of that. I don't give a shit. I could write any fucking thing I want on a website. Here's the tape. I have a tape.
Yep. And so,
let me hang on. Sorry, not to keep harping on this tape thing. I could type up any kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like even for the 30-minute thing, la 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 la. I'm ripping off Seinfeld basically, and then I get on stage, and then every punch word is the F word or the N word. Like you know what I mean? Like how do you know? Here's me actually performing clean with the tape. I could type a bunch of clean shit and then not do it. Here's a tape of me actually doing the clean shit. Also, if HR is this ridiculous about it, hey, bud, just take my tape, run it through ChatGPT or whatever the fuck, and it'll give you a transcript of the whole thing. This not only are they like overbearing, they're incompetent. Like they're not even good at being overbearing.
Both Ultra and April are saying they just wanted the tape so they could show it at the event. I don't think so. I got the genuine sense that they were like, comedy's not their thing. Like they were.
By the way, I would respect that more. I would respect the company a lot more if they were like, I know you guys wanted to drink at the free bar and chit chat with friends, but here's a guy doing dick jokes for 30 minutes. Like, nah, just put it on the screen in the corner. Whoever wants to pay attention, and I think that's the move. Truly.
I thought Irascible was Ultra, but it's Todd. Sorry. This is what happens when we get name changes. I think I know what I'm talking about, but I don't.
Dude, nothing sucks more than a crowd not expecting comedy and not wanting it.
Okay, Ultra is Ultra, Age of Ultron. So either way. Names were changed and I got confused. Anyway, so after about 20 minutes after everything, they sent me an email saying, could you send your contract? And I did, and this was Friday afternoon. Either way, so I haven't heard back. We will see whether or not they ultimately pull the trigger. But the funny
company, if you're watching right now, you better hire my boy. All right, you better fucking hire him and not make him do any bullshit. Otherwise, now he's being nice right now. He's not saying the company name because he doesn't know whether he's hired or not. If that's hard no, or even worse, if you ghost him. We're talking about your company. Not only are we naming it on the next podcast, we're gonna have the people in the chat leave fake reviews. Yeah. I mean real reviews of what your product did to them and their kids and their pets and their grandparents.
If they don't hire me, they're definitely going into the act because your face when I gave their 2 requests, like you said, unheard of. The idea that could you type it up? Could you get on a Zoom call and I would have felt less offended if they said to me, just as a company policy, all comedians got to come over here and our CEO has to bend you over the chair and then throw a rib condom on inside out and then fuck you with it so that he feels the pleasure. I would be more willing to do that than to do this bullshit, than to type up my entire act. I would feel less violated if he did that than if he had me type up my entire 30 minutes, hour, whatever they're having you do, or worse, do it over Zoom to some HR person. All right, we'll get back with you. Like, stop it. Yep. So we will see. We will see. But yeah, I've been doing comedy a couple minutes now, and I've never received such an absurd request. And two in one, two completely absurd requests in the same.
Truly, I would be more willing. Look, we're trying to spice it up a little. We want you to. You don't have to be super clean, but what we do want you to do is. Have you ever heard of sounding? What we need you to do is twist this bottle rocket down your urethra, sounding, so to speak, where you penetrate the male urethra, light it off, and launch bottle rockets out of your pee hole. The entire act. I would do that before typing it all up and giving it. That just sounds humiliating.
I couldn't, because that would be hack. That would be Jackass did that already.
No, not out of the piss hole. Yeah, they did the butt. Any hack can do the butt. All right, I'm talking about sounding with bottle rockets, which ironically gets real loud. Yeah, because I'm doing
April
it in a
nailed
microphone.
it right here. April nailed it. Here, when I said I got the boom. If you go off script for any reason, they could Karen out. Yes, they want me to type it up and then verbatim it. And I told them, I said, look, my act is fluid. I feel the audience out.
That's
where
right.
It's like, oh, do they want to go in? Like
sometimes
I have all the
piss on
jokes
them
in my head, but I don't like, here is joke one, here is joke two. It goes like, and you and I both know comics that are like that, though, that are very verbatim.
Yeah,
I find them sometimes less interesting, but that's
sometimes they're great, man. Some of the greatest of all time are like that. Look at Dave Attell, Mitch Hedberg. Are pretty set up punchline, and they're some of the best to ever do it. Some of the best to ever do this are like that. It's just there's just different styles, is all.
Different styles. All right, should we jump into some news, or do you got anything shocking, fun you want to share or talk about?
Yeah, let's do the news, man. Hearing that right now, dude, if they, you know what I would do? You know what I would do if they told me that? I'd be like, all right, get HR on the Zoom. Let's see my act. And I would stand up naked with a knife and just start Perez Hiltoning myself. Ooh, you like my stand-up, HR? What's your company think about that? My jokes are clean, but I'm getting dirty. I would just naked slash myself for 30 minutes. And then go ta-da, and that would be my act, the aristocrats, right? And then I would see if they book me.
Here's what I mentioned this in passing, but I didn't double down on it because I'm playing nice. I want to get the gig. I want the money. I did if you look at my website, I told him in the interview, I'm like, well, if you look at my website, you'll see that I've done multiple after proms. So if you think your executives are more, and I didn't tight-assed than parents with their kids, I mean that says a lot.
I was going to say that's not a bet I'd want to take if they're asking you to do this bullshit. I'll tell you that right now.
Ultra pretends I have an agent. That's cute. Like I have anyone representing me.
Fuck that. Fuck that. Tell him you got an agent and then get him on the Zoom with me. And then I'll Perez Hilton. I'm his agent. How dare you ask this of my client? Here's what I think of that request. Yeah. This is his act. I taught him everything he knows.
All right, here we go. Let's jump into the news. Last week, I sent you two of the best clickbait stories I have ever seen, headlines, and I want to start.
Okay, before we get to that, let me just apologize for my look right now. I did go running before this. I didn't have time to shower because otherwise it'd be late, and it'd be, But yeah, so I look blotchy and all fucking sunbaked.
You don't look any different than you ever do.
Oh yeah, well,
So I want to start doing more clickbait, maybe compare and contrast, because that's what I have right now. I saw the worst clickbait headline, the kind I hate, but then this morning I just saw a great one. So here, this is a horrible story because you read it, but the headline, the thumbnail I saw was naked man accused of beating security guard to death at condo complex identified as champion swimmer. I mean, that you naked guy beating someone to death. Apparently it was a 63-year-old security guard. That's very sad. It happened in Lahaina, where that burned to the ground in Maui a couple of years ago. But Hawaii News Now, Lahaina murder investigation, naked man accused of beating security guard to death. That could be the headline right there. You don't even need at condo complex identified as champion swimmer. Lose the at condo complex. Naked man accused of beating security guard to death identified as champion swimmer. You've got a champion swimmer.
It's a rough back nine for the industry of swimming. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I mean? It's all Wheaties boxes and stuff when you're in your 20s and you're winning gold medals. But then after that, yeah.
When was the last time? I can't even think of his name. We heard of Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps and Ryan, whatever the guy is.
Oh, you know? Ryan, he gets in the news because of fucking his life.
He's a fun guy. Yeah. Fun
but either way, so that's a good clickbait headline. You want to click it. It sounds interesting. It's compelling, and the story spells it out. Here is the worst kind of clickbait headline. It pisses me off. It makes me angry. WNBA coach dunks on Sophie Cunningham's anti-trans athlete remarks with simple act. She dunked on her. Jake, WNBA coach dunks on Sophie Cunningham. Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve wore a t-shirt Sunday that read, "Trans kids belong." That's the fucking dunking. That is what. Yeah, I mean, like I know it's in a response to it, but it's not telling her to fuck off. You know what I mean? Like it's just being like, hey man, I don't like the anti-trans stuff that's going on right now. Like here's, you know, I'll do some pro-trans stuff to make people feel welcome or whatever the hell, you know. Exactly, but it's not dunking. It's was it directed at Sophie? Yes, because they're playing her, so she wear. But this fucking. I think it's a smart move. Look, I think probably most fans of the WNBA. I'm just talking the headline. I'm just talking the coach. Good for her. Whatever the back and forth, the dialogue, the discussion. But of course, it's HuffPost, so it has to be far to the fucking left, and it has to be like, "Ooh, she sure showed Sophie." No, she didn't. She wore a t-shirt. She kept the conversation going. Well, I don't think it's like a left or right thing. What I think this is just the media in general trying to make stuff conflict because conflict sells. And HuffPost conflicts pro-left, just as Fox News would say. The Fox News headline would be "Stupid coach pushes for men in." Dude, the amount of talk about the WNBA that has nothing to do with basketball is fucking wild to me. It's wild to me. The amount of because I at work I'll have like the news mix on like the TV, so you'll see like CNN, Fox, MS Now, BBC, like weather channels and stuff, and BBC talking about it too? No. Oddly enough, our country's the only country who will sit here and go on and on about 3 trans women playing college sports as if it is a fucking national. Like while we're at war, are going to sit there and like make this a national issue, you know? And it's like, what? This is crazy. And like. Yeah, I'll see them talking about not just trans women in sports, but I'll see Fox talking about Caitlin Clark got fouled really hard. Can you believe it? Like, since when do you guys give a fuck about the WNBA? Like, you don't. You're just trying to make it a trans war and a race war and whatever. Like, you're not covering the game. Hey, what'd you think of the game? What'd you think of the rest of the game? Hey, Jesse Waters? Or are you just trying to start a race war? Like, what do you? God wants to know what Al Jazeera thinks of all of it. Yeah, here's the thing, and I would be happy to hear Al Jazeera's take on women's sports or trans women in sports or Caitlin Clark getting fouled or what Angel Reese said or what Caitlin or whatever Cunningham lady said. All I gotta see before any of you fucks in either the media or Washington, D.C., especially, whether you're pro this or pro that, I just got to see a ticket stub for the WNBA. That's all I got to see. I got you know, if you just show me you went to a game. Show me you went to a game, because all I see if I ever actually click on a game, which I don't pretend to give a shit about the WNBA. I barely care about men's basketball. You know, I mean, hey, go Knicks. But either way, it was cool when they won the championship. I was in New York for it. It was fucking awesome. But like, I gotta see that you've been to a game, because whenever you actually turn on a game, you see a lot of empty seats. It could be filled with the rest of you assholes that like to yell about women's sports but never watch it. I got nothing to add. I got you see one full arena, and it's whenever the Fever play. That's true. Hey man, statistically, they've shown it. The ticket sales rise when Caitlin is playing, and everywhere else they're still stagnant. So yeah. But either way, no, I thought of it just because the headline, just because it's such a dunks oh, she put her in place. Nah, she just continued.
Yeah, no, I'm hot because I literally just got out of the sun, and now I went for a run, and now I'm drinking Monster, so I'm just going fucking nuts. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
right,
what do you want? It's although I will say to the hypocrisy of Sophie Cunningham talking about trans women in sports, like, I'm about protecting women. She was a ring girl at a Conor McGregor fight just 3 weeks ago. So let that sink in. Yeah. She, she gets real picky choosy on when she wants to protect women.
Well, she wasn't in the ring with Conor.
Well, she was holding the thing.
Not taking blows, not fighting.
No, but if she was in the dressing room with Conor, I can tell you what would have happened. It wouldn't have gone well. She would have been yet another woman calling the police because of what Conor McGregor did. Ooh.
So if he was a black belt at age 6. The thing is, 6 years old black belt, they just sort of pass you through. My daughter was in Taekwondo, and I know a couple people in the class, and you just sort of test. And if you can, if you know you're right from your left and you kick when you're supposed to, you move up in belts. There was this is kind of an amusing story. You could take the classes with your kid. So I did, to keep her involved. I took the classes, and at one point we had to spar, and it was me versus a 16-year-old black belt or a 15-year-old black belt. And he was all like, yeah, I'm a black belt. You're just a yellow belt. I'm going to kick your ass. And I'm like, dude, you're a kid and I'm an adult. And I just kept slapping him and keeping him away. And he was so frustrated because he thought he was going to kick my ass because he's a black belt. And I'm like, no, you're a 15-year-old. Like you're not, you've been passed forward, but I'm I couldn't take on a real black belt, but it was just funny because, yeah, sure, Sophie was a black belt at 6, but it's not a real black belt. It's not. Some
are. When I was 6, my karate instructor beat me till my hair fell out. I've had this hairline since I was 6 years old because of the karate chops that bastard gave me. He waxed off my entire hair, top part of my hair.
Yes. All right, next story. Let's move on. Let's get out of the WNBA because that's all anyone talking about. All right. Boy George is discovering what it's like to be canceled by the thought police. First of all,
did he say anything about the WNBA? Because that'll do it these days.
First of all, I got to say, I bet Boy George is happy to just be in the news. They're talking about me. It's been decades.
It's better than what he was in the news for last time. I'll say that for sure.
Exactly. But so if you did not know how little it takes these days to be an iconoclast, I'm not wild about Boy George. It's, at least we're getting honesty up front. I am not wild about Boy George, nor am I a fan of the song he has recorded, We Will Dance Again. Everyone these days fuck it, I don't even feel like reading it. He wrote a pro-Israel reggae song with AI. AI wrote the song, and he added lyrics. And if you have not listened to it, I absolutely recommend putting it on and seeing how far you last, because it is, if you were to ask for an example, hey, what does shitty AI music sound like? Put on the Boy George song.
I just like the idea of a pro-Israel reggae song, man.
And it's awful. It's an awful song. It just sounds.
Oh, did they have? Shit. I thought he just wrote it. They actually came out with it already. Like it's released.
Oh, he released it on Spotify.
Fuck, I haven't heard it yet, man. I just read the lyrics.
Oh, but you have to listen to it because it sounds like a generic Bob Marley song. But Bob Marley's song is, One Love. But now he's singing like, they were raped, they were murdered. Yeah, Israel got the shit kicked out of them in October. It's like this happy reggae song.
And look, Bob Marley was political.
Lyrics.
He did, that is kind of the cool thing about Bob Marley is he did have songs that were one love, and just singing about, getting laid or whatever, and, falling in love, stuff like that. Just sort of laid back, enjoying life. But then, he had super politically charged music about Jamaica,
But here's the other part.
I just like the idea of a pro-Israel one. at this point. You'd think it'd be pro-Palestine, but a reggae song? Like, that's crazy.
Oh, it's just hilariously bad. But here's the part that I think is funny. So no one's talking about how the song is bad. They're angry at him for supporting Israel.
Right.
But you read the lyrics. Is he saying anything wrong? He talks about you never mention October 7th, young girls taken against their will against trees, murdered brutally for the crime of dancing. Everybody that's like, fuck Israel, never does mention October 7th. What kicked this all off? And as we've said a million times, this goes back decades and hundreds of years. They've always been fighting. It is more nuanced than this side is right, this side is wrong. It's just... And so for the fact that they attack him for taking a side without talking about what he's saying or singing, I find amusing because you can't. Nobody talks about October 7th.
I hope he does a whole album. Just they're using human shields, man. We had no choice but to bomb the school. We got to bomb the school till it's gone. Do, 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 do. I hope do a whole reggae pro-Zionist thing. That sounds crazy. Although, in defense of Boy George, I think, I'd probably be super pro Netanyahu if I was Boy George too, because he looks at all the even the most horrific stuff. He's like, this is no different than what I do to male prostitutes that have been chained to my radiator for a few days when I'm messed up. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna go canceling every nation state who does what I do to hookers on Craigslist. Fuck off, you brute.
Confusing him with R. Kelly? I thought he just got busted for.
Boy George kidnapped the guy.
Did he?
Okay. Unless I'm thinking somebody else. If so, Boy George, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure he was arrested for kidnapping an escort worker or something.
You type in Boy George AR and it fills in arrested for kidnapping.
Yeah, that's why I love it. Hey, man, whether
false imprisonment, he handcuffed a Norwegian model and escort, Audun Carson, to a wall fixture and in his London
Justice for Audun Carson. That's what I say.
Invited him to his flat for a photo shoot. Drug-induced paranoia episode. Accused Carlson of hacking his computer and stealing photos with the help of another man. So there's another guy. All drugs are always involved. Handcuffed Carlson to a wall hook. Carlson.
If we find out that dude was Mossad, my mind is gonna be blown right now.
All right, I missed all that. Boy George lore.
Yeah, that's why I think no matter whether he's like super pro-Israel, super pro-Palestine, even if he wants to sing about, I don't know, human rights in general, it's like, hey, guy, Ultramatch on YouTube, thank you. You kind of went Kathy Bates in Misery on an escort worker. I sort of don't care what you think about hungry kids, bud. Unchain them from your radiator. Unchain the boy hookers from your radiator before you preach to me about goddamn anything, Gaza or anything else.
Oh, I wish I knew that, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the idea of people getting arrested, not for public intoxication, not for drinking and driving, not for but for kidnapping a dude and chaining him to your radiator and then sitting there and getting preachy with the rest of us about politics.
Well,
how about you fuck
off?
Like,
I'm drawing a blank. Oh God, this is really bad. It's the dude that's married to it's his brother. Who is Seth Rogen's best friend forever? Oh yeah. Why can't I think of this right now? Why can't I think of this? Jesus, that's The guy was huge. He was in like The Disaster Artist, and he was massive before he got like Me Too and all that. Yeah. James Franco.
James Franco was right on my head. Yeah.
James Franco gets busted because he wears remember during the height of Believe All Women, what was that? Me Too. The height of Me Too. He wears a pin to like the Golden Globes, and then all these actresses, these they come out and say, you don't get to wear that pin. And it blew him up. I was going to say, stay quiet before I seen the pin. Yeah. It's not like people dislike hypocrisy anywhere, but I think like, especially here, like in our culture, people especially the one thing that just really just viscerally
just fucking gets us every time, no matter what it is. It's hypocrisy.
Well, unless you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Hey, man.
Less often.
Look, I mean, I would argue that's kind of fucking Trump right now with the Republicans. The man runs on end all wars. The man, he at least gets people in his orbit who are talking a lot about the Epstein stuff and look at all these Democrats, that are all pedophiles or whatever. And now he's best case scenario, he's just covering up for a bunch of pedophiles who are friends of his. Worst case scenario, he's one of them too. So I think that quietly, a lot of Republicans are sort of pissed off about that. They don't want to publicly agree with their
quiet, whereas everybody else gets loud. But
yeah.
Well, speaking of Republicans and Trump and MAGA, this is sort of kissing cousins. Odyssey expert accused of echoing MAGA attacks. MAGA's latest culture war target, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, is grandiose and superficial, according to a world-renowned scholar on the Greek poem. Did we talk about this? I think we did in passing. So Christopher Nolan bases his screenplay on a modern version of The Odyssey, and the author of that version says, nope, you fucked up. Your movie sucks. You missed the point. You should not have done this. And so this other person, Joyce Carol Oates, the other literary author, jumps into the conversation to slam. Emily Wilson wrote the modern version that Christopher Nolan based his screenplay on. And she said that rather than disagreeing with interpretations of Homer in a collegial manner, this person who has benefited enormously from Nolan films speaks in the crude language of MAGA folks attacking someone with ideas who differs from her. No, not at all. She was very, very, Emily, was very specific. I read her article. Emily Wilson went through and tore him apart. She never once mentioned that I saw race swapping or Helen isn't attractive enough, or she just talked about that it was a poor interpretation. So now this other kid nope, you're just accusing MAGA. Can we stop saying that if I disagree with you, you align with the other political party? I mean, that's where this goes, is it's automatically
this has sort of become like the WNBA of movies, where everybody's talking about the casting and not the actual movie itself. And I know the casting's a big part of the movie.
The author talked about the movie itself, and she gets slammed for you're MAGA.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Where it's sort of like you have to automatically like this movie, otherwise you're like a racist or whatever, or you got to hate this movie. Otherwise, you're like a woke whatever who wants to change everything up and wants to tear down the statues of, George Washington or whatever the fuck. I mean, or you could just go see the movie because it looks pretty fucking cool, man. I don't think you necessarily got to. Yeah, I mean, some of the casting decisions seem a little weird, but you know what? There's also fantasy monsters in it. You know what I mean? There's cyclopses and mermaids and sirens and all that shit. So you know what? A lady who may have been Greek if she was real or wasn't or whatever, being a black lady, that's not that fucking crazy. That being said, on the flip side of it, if I took some, classic literary thing from the Congo and, had Emma Stone play Queen Matumbu or whatever the fuck, people would get upset. So, I do see the flip side of that. Don't think
the same people that.
The same people adamantly defending the Odyssey, man. What are you, racist? If I let me turn Black Panther into Scottish Panther and fucking see how these assholes will flip sides on a dime. Although, you know what? I'll say it right now. Scottish Panther's going to be a better movie. I'm taking that spaceship down and I'm using it just to beat up people with opposing soccer jerseys. You know what I mean?
When it comes to casting, the one that got me is everybody's crowing about everything. The one that's not getting talked about, that I've only heard one person talk about, was John Leguizamo as an elderly something. And the guy's like, you really had to put Leguizamo in makeup and a wig and make him act like he's 70. You couldn't have found a 70-year-old actor to do that part Odyssey. And
That is a
nobody's
good point.
talking about that. Everybody's talking about race and gender and all that. What about ageism? What about Christopher Nolan and ageism? He had to throw Leguizamo in there for another name. He couldn't have.
That's true. And Leguizamo is one of those guys who's constantly harping on how dare you have somebody play a Hispanic guy. Meanwhile, I'm going to go play an Italian plumber, a fictional one from a video game, but still.
And an elderly Greek. Yeah, no, But so I just thought that was funny.
I think the only one I didn't realize that Leguizamo was in there playing an elderly Greek. He's the only one who should be shamed just because of how much noise he's made about people playing Hispanic people in roles.
But I do think it's interesting, and I didn't
again
say this up
the
front.
hypocrisy.
I thought it was funny. I didn't say it up front because I did. So the woman, let me get their names here. Let me get the Emily, whatever. I like
John Leguizamo as an actor. He's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, he's great. Emily Wilson.
I'll even go one step further. I love John Leguizamo's thing where he's doing the history of America and he's talking about the genocide of like the indigenous people here. Like I'm into all of that. I'm into all of it. But when he sits there and goes, and not only did they wipe out most of the indigenous people in North, South, and Central America, but they're playing Hispanics in movies. I'm like, all right, dude, come on. Like, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, But if you break this whole story down, Emily Wilson writes a translation of the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan bases his movie on her work, and she says, "I do not like this work." So Joyce Carol Oates, who did not write any translation of the Odyssey, says, "You're wrong, you're MAGA." If anything, the person who did not write a translation of the Odyssey should be the one shutting the fuck up, and the expert on the Odyssey is the one that should have an opinion. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing where it's like, okay, this person doesn't like the thing, but I've decided that anybody who doesn't like it only doesn't like it because of the crazy racist reasons, which many, to be fair, like
there's a bunch.
There's a bunch of those people out there, but like at least let them read it and I've heard a lot of people since people on the right have kind of been going against Israel and our involvement in that situation in Gaza and whatnot. And are sort of
right. The left is screaming about Israel.
No. There's people on the right who are kind of fed up with that shit too now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'll hear people on the left go, "Well, we don't like it because we care about the kids in Palestine." But the people on the right who are fed up with Israel, they're just anti-Semites. And it's like, hey, yeah, there's a lot of that. But it's like, hey, dude, I'm going to need a quote or something. I'm going to need a quote. If you're talking about this specific dude, I'm going to need a quote from him that's actually anti-Semitic other than I'm going to need more than he agrees with me on Palestine, but he's got an R next to his name. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to need some kind of anti-Jewish quote from this guy other than I agree with Trump, and I also don't want to send all of our money to Netanyahu. Like, I mean, that's sorry. It's not enough. I didn't like when the right did that to the left for fucking 3 years. Don't turn around and do the same goddamn thing. At least, and I would say the same thing to this reporter. It's like, yeah, if you want to talk about transphobia and racism in the Odyssey critiques, there's a lot of it out there, but you at least gotta fucking read more than I didn't like this movie. At least read down to the part where they're actually getting racist and transphobic and all that shit.
From I keep forgetting her name. Emily Wilson. She wrote an article on why she did not like the Odyssey. And not once did she say, well, Elliot Page was too small and trans, or Lupita is not a trans. She did not touch on any of that.
Yeah.
She talked about the translation, the soulless aspect of it. And I've gotten that from Nolan in the past. He seems like a very good technician. Emotion and human, not his forte. And so if she's talking about how, and I actually saw a couple of reviews that said the same things, like we're talking about this guy that is longing to get home, and we never get that in the movie. He's just sort of like going home, like it's
right. I have you seen the movie? I haven't seen it.
I have no opinion on it other than it didn't look interesting to me, so I haven't seen it.
I think it does look interesting to me, man. I'll watch it, but I got 2 young kids. I got to wait till stuff's streaming now. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I might give it a chance when it's streaming, but that first trailer dropped, and I'm just like, and again, I think I've said this in the past. Everybody says Oppenheimer's a great movie. I have not seen that either. Tenet was so bad, it burned me on Nolan for a little while. Like, I shouldn't take it out on other movies of his, but Tenet was such a piece of shit.
I don't know that I saw Tenet.
Oh, you probably blocked it from your memory. It was so bad.
It's going to come rushing back to me like an abused child.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm going to Google it.
All right,
Tenet
final
movie?
story.
I will say, to back up just for a second, to people talking about Elliot Page as the whatever. Yeah, do I think there's a little bit of political grandstanding going on there too?
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely.
Do I think he's a little, probably small to play Achilles? Sure. But the same.
He's not Achilles. Everybody, the rumor
I thought it was Achilles. I've never seen it. No,
everybody got the rumor went out that Elliot Page is Achilles, but he's not. He got cast as a spirit, something like that.
Okay, fair enough. Whoever he is in the thing, probably
Simon,
a little too small in real life. However,
confronts Odysseus regarding the brutal violence of the war.
I will point this out. In terms of our abilities to do special effects, would you say they're better or worse in 2026 than in like 1976?
I'm gonna go 2026 probably.
Okay, that's about when Rocky came out. Rocky is 5'2" in real life. Rocky is 5'2". He's 5'2". He was a heavyweight champion of the world. Okay, I mean he was a contender in the first one. He ended up not to whitewash Rocky, but if the same people who bitched about Elliot Page also threw in, by the way, Sylvester Stallone never should have played his own character in Rocky. Fine, they probably didn't though. So I don't think it's about just the size.
Well, I did not know this either because I am not an expert, but boom. Oh, wrong one. He's someone not in the Odyssey. So I looked. Elliot Page plays Simon, a Greek warrior, though not featured heavily in the narrative exploring in the movie. Simon does not actually appear in Homer's original poem, The Odyssey. The character originates from Virgil's. So he's adding... It's a made up. It's like literally, I want to throw Elliot Page in this movie to virtue signal.
They just wrote another character.
Just added a character. Like
I hope he gives a big impassioned monologue. You know what I mean? I hope it's super cheesy. Simon says, "Grab your spears." Simon says, "Grab your shield." Simon says, "Ready yourself for war."
Well, here's what I think I mentioned this once in passing. Here's what I don't understand. Leading up to the release, when he's talking about, I've made the Odyssey, he kept saying, the Odyssey is the best story ever written. It's time to bring it to the screen. The Odyssey is the best story. Then why'd you fucking change it? And why are you adding characters? If it's the best story ever written, it's the best story. I think it needs another character.
It's the greatest story ever written. Let me cross this out. Let me add this here.
I got some studio notes here for Homer. I've got Homer. You wrote the greatest story ever. I just need a couple changes. So yeah, that's the problem.
Dude, Homer is looking up at this from his grave and going, "Doe." What's up?
Says Instant Classics has a great breakdown of what Nolan gets wrong, and they say it's a good movie. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with pointing out criticisms.
Yeah, again, to this, you change the thing around. And look, I get that it's a classic text and whatnot. That said, they're also talking about Cyclops. So I think they might have made a couple things up when they wrote it. What do you think? I don't think this is necessarily meant to be a documentary.
It's probably not. Oh, we ran out of time for our final story. We're at our limit. Let me just bring it up in passing. I sent you a link. Jimothy, the raccoon, went viral last week. Everybody was going nuts. And then someone on Facebook posted this. People like Jimothy because he can't talk. He can't complain about his discomfort or lack of accommodations. He can't ask for anything or say something that makes able-bodied people feel guilty. People can project whatever they want disabled people to be, like, onto Jimothy. To them, he gets around just fine because they don't hear about the places he can't go. Jimothy can be their inspiration because Jimothy can represent their toxic positivity culture in their head as long as he can't complain. And you know what? You're right, because fuck you, you're complaining about people enjoying a raccoon. You just fucking made all, this is why we don't like people, because you have to turn fucking everything. I can guarantee there's not a single fucking person that went, you know what? Every time I see a disabled parking space, I feel guilty, but thank God looking at this disabled raccoon doesn't make me feel this way. I love that. Fuck you. You are inventing shit to whine and complain about. Yes, we like Jimothy, and yes, we hate you. It's not because we're able-bodied and you're not. It's because you're a fucking pain in everyone's ass. You took the time to take a raccoon that everybody was delighting in and turn it into something else. Eat all the dicks in the world, you piece of shit.
Here's the thing. I don't know if there's any way to verify this. I don't know if it's on Kalshi, but if the answer is yes and yes, then I'm putting all my money on this person walks just fine and feels like preaching.
That would be a good one. It's always the I'm going to go ahead and say they're a white liberal, far left, going, we need to talk about, yeah, because that's the kind of person that does that. All right, we're out of time. I have been Nathan Timmel. You can find all things me at nathantimmel.com. My wife just tweaked the website slightly, so if you want to go pick out some changes and go, ooh, I like that, go right ahead. You can find links to my Amazon, all my books there, my store, all apparel and magnets and whatever else I sell, I don't even know. Jake has been Jake Vevra, and I spell his last name Vevera, because if you are looking for him on social media, you will find him at Jake Vevra.
Thanks, everybody.
We are getting nice comments and goodbyes from everyone in the goodbye comment section. Specials on YouTube for both of us. We got 1 or 2 more weeks here on Sunday at this time. Then Jake's going to be in Iowa City, so we're going to try and do it in person. And then football season starts, so we will probably try and push it earlier to meet kickoff. Thanks for tuning in. Be good.
Have Perez Hilton star in the Odyssey 2, wearing nothing but a kitchen knife.